Celia, what's Steven Universe?
Oh yeah.
Steven Universe.
I remember you tweeted about it.
I
I
like
so want to
Steven
watch Steven
Universe.
Universe. I
It's
still haven't
good,
checked it
Chad.
out.
You should watch it.
I know. I keep hearing about it. Everybody recommends it to me, and I'm just like, man, I
I've
gotta check
never
this
heard of
out.
it until like maybe like a week ago. Somebody else tweeted
No,
about
I've
it.
mentioned it before. I totally mentioned it when we first
So have
started
I.
talking. I'm pretty sure I mentioned Steven Universe.
Wait, which show is this? Who am I talking to again? Which set?
Jerk.
Oh, but no, Steven Universe is really good. And what's great about it is that they're 15-minute episodes.
I heard. Yeah.
So you can catch up on it like super fast. Um, so basically, so I haven't watched all of it because my DVR is kind of sporadic in which episodes it records because I only have so much space. But I've been
You sure it's not a VCR?
not a VCR. My VCR is not hooked up to that TV. Um,
Up
um,
in Heights Mountain?
right on top of the mountain. uh, but yeah, so Steven Universe is about this boy whose name is Steven, and he is the product of a I don't want to call them aliens because I don't think that's accurate, but there are these beings called that are gems, and they're literal like people that are like personifications of these different types of gems that come from a place called Homeworld. And I guess alien is, I think, the only way I can describe it. Um, and
If it's
Steven.
not aliens, it's aliens.
But yeah, so Steven's half gem. His dad is a human, and his mother was the gem rose quartz. And it's basically like how he's discovering himself, but also after he was born, his mother disappeared because his gem is her gem. So he has a gem on his stomach, and it's her rose quartz. And he's been raised by three of the crystal gems so far: pearl, garnet, and amethyst. And in the beginning, it starts out as like kind of their hijinks together because Steven's, he's like a little 9, 10-year-old boy, and this is what 9 and 10-year-old boys do. And but the story with Homeworld, because Homeworld has found out that the crystal gems still exist because there was this big war where there was a rebellion, and the crystal gems were the rebellion group. And Homeworld found out that there are still members of the crystal gems that are out there, and that Earth still exists. They've been trying to destroy it since the last war, and so now you're getting more involvement from Homeworld and seeing more of the enemy gems show up. And there's now like a long story that's happening, which I think is pretty impressive that they're stretching this in 15-minute segments, and
Yeah,
it's
that's what I
done
was
really
thinking. I was like,
well.
these are 15 minutes? It sounds really
Yeah.
complicated.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
my favorite part about Steven Universe though is that it tackles things about relationships and identity,
Oh
and
yeah.
makes it in a way that's easy to digest for kids. So like there's an aspect to Steven Universe, it's called fusion, and it's when two gems come together to make a new one. But they really use fusion to talk about what consent means in a relationship. And they show, that, like, for example, Garnet is a fusion. She's a fusion between the gems Ruby and Sapphire. And when they come together for their fusion, gems will do a dance with each other, and it's all about consent. You have to consent in order for the fusion to be successful. And there are several times in the series where another gem will try to fuse with another, like, I think Jasper's one of the bad guys. So Jasper fused with Lapis without her consent, just because Jasper needed Lapis's powers and basically used her. And it's really taking something that's super serious and you wouldn't think to talk about with your 8, 9-year-old child, about how important it is to have healthy relationships where you guys are on the same page and consenting to each other's ideas and things that you want to do, and that it's okay to say no, and that if they don't respect your answer, that bad things will happen if you don't have someone's consent, if you don't respect if they say no. I would never think, like, even as an early childhood professional, would never think to like start talking about that at that point. But this show
Yep.
does it in such a way that is so good and is so easy to talk about without getting into, like, I think, age inappropriate ways of talking about it. You know what I mean? But it's
Hmm.
Yep.
so good. And like emotional, like, health, like Steven is a boy who like always shows his emotions, and it's not just anger. He cries, he gets excited, he gets frustrated, he gets silly. Like, the whole
The
spectrum
whole
of
healthy
emotions
range of
that,
human emotion that we should
yeah,
all be showing, but we don't. Yes.
instead of the typical, in shows that have like a male protagonist that are aimed towards children, that male protagonist doesn't have really that many more emotions other than anger and let's go. So seeing Steven model that and show that it's okay to feel these things, like the last episode I watched, Steven and Connie are two characters that found out they could fuse because of Steven's gem power, and they were training, and their fusion started to come undone because Steven was looking back on the gems that he had to kill, essentially, where he had to shatter them or what's the word I'm looking for? Remove them from their body, so only the gem exists, and he was regretting it, and it's making him anxious, and he's like, I can't do this is terrible, and it's awful. And they were using that to talk about, yes, you do things sometimes that you don't like, but instead of getting anxious about it and letting your feelings bottle up until you can't do anything about it, it's okay. And literally the song says, like, it's okay to think about it and it's okay to talk about it, and Connie's telling Steven, you can talk to me about it and I will listen. And that's what she does. Like, she just listens. She doesn't try to change Steven's mind or anything. So it really models for kids like really great relationship interactions and that kind of thing. It's such a good show.